Welcome to the Experts and Expats podcast. I'm Jeffrey Jones.
And I'm Michelle Hippler. We're co-founders of the Living Abroad Academy. We focus on the information Americans need to plan a move to Europe on a faster timeline than the one we experience.
We cover all the best visas to explore, along with financial and social considerations that will help you determine what country
or countries
might be the right fit for you and your circumstances.
Absolutely. A country might look great on paper, but not turn out to be what you expected. So we talk to expats about their experiences and experts about their particular expertise in their country.
All with the goal to get you as much information as possible to make an informed decision. Today we have Christian Balcells from the Balcells Group in Barcelona, Spain. Hello, Christian.
Hello, hola, ¿qué tal?
Bien. Christian is the CEO and managing director of the Balcells Group, which offers services for expats in immigration, taxes, real estate, and a lot more. Christian has some more information to share about Spanish immigration and their other services coming up.
To add a key detail, we are Americans, and so we are focused only on U.S. citizens and the information specific to helping them.
And if you feel like Spain is a strong option for you, or you want more in-depth information on how to move there and some other details, we're so pleased to introduce you to the Balcells Group. They've been my personal immigration attorney in Spain this year. Actually, we started last year. They've done an excellent job for me and my spouse. And besides that, they've been really great people to meet and to work with. Before we start with questions, I'd like to share a bit about my personal experience with Balcells to give you a sense of the process and the timeline. Again, it was positive. In the late winter of 2023, last year, my spouse and I decided on Spain after considering quite a few expat countries. Michelle knows it was a multi-year process. And we really wanted the digital nomad visa in Spain we thought we did, right? Since I work at home as a professional. So how did we find the Balcells Group? So we saw Christian present on a program by YouTuber Patrick Reyes. He has terrific content on Spain and Barcelona. We were really impressed with your presentation, Christian. Really clear and thorough. I think we watched that 4 times and took notes. So anyway, after that, we booked an introductory Zoom session with your team and your attorney, Marta, who we enjoyed meeting and working with right away. We booked, and I think we paid on the website. I just know it was easy. There was a big button at the top. We went up there, clicked it, book an appointment, and then we had the appointment pretty quickly. So our first meeting was very useful with her. She asked us some really pointed questions. I'm glad she did, to make sure that we qualified for the visa, and that just clarified that really quickly. Then she said call back, in a number of months when we were close to moving to Spain. So fast forward to this year in January, we reconnected with her again on a Zoom call and started the immigration work. And she, it's when she recommended, about 3 months before we were to arrive in Spain. We started exchanging a lot of documents online. And once we arrived to Spain in May, we'd already submitted everything for the process. So we were really just waiting and, enjoying paella and enjoying Spain and not doing a lot until a few weeks later when we got the great news that we were approved for the visa and we got our NIE, our NIE document, the piece of paper that said we had it. So that was a celebration. So we started the final part after that, activities like fingerprinting, Social Security and tax docs, so those meetings, and the last steps to get that magic piece of plastic, the visa residency card. So glad we got that. It took about 7 months once we kicked off the process. Christian, I'm wondering, were we quick or were we slow? Maybe we're slow. I don't know.
It depends on how busy is the immigration office, but between 5 and 7 months, yeah.
Yeah, the office was quite busy, and then there was some sort of glitch. Anyway, we had to wait a few extra weeks. So anyway, it was 7 months. I did want to close with one thing. There were moments in the process when I think the best word is stuck. Things just got stuck, like what I just mentioned. And we were even told by government people that there were going to be weeks added to the process. Contacted our attorney, Marta, at the Balcells Group, and she jumped in and fixed things within days. So we didn't have delays. That would have sounded like weeks or even no information. So I think that was amazing. And I just want to thank you and your group again, Christian. I think you guys did a great job. It was not a painful process at all. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear this. Our mission is to give a good service and to make the journey easy. So I'm happy that you are here and that we can talk in these terms as well.
Thank you.
All right, we've got some questions for you. One of the big ones, Spain's been in the news a lot this year, starting in the summer when there were the anti-tourist protests and the infamous squirt gun incident that people have been asking about. But there's been some changing immigration laws. There's some climate change concerns now, too, with the horrible flooding in the Valencia region and other things that are occurring in Spain. So we wanted to just get your take, your perspective of if you think Spain is a good option for expats and why. We love Spain, so don't get us wrong. We just want to hear your take on it.
Very good, very good. Thank you. Well, what I can say, I'm Spanish. I love my country, and I think I've been traveling a lot around the world, and I think Spain is one of the countries that offers you all the culture, the mountain, the sea, the weather, the people, the language, the atmosphere, the feelings, the energy. So of course, I understand why it's a top destination for expats and so attractive. On the other side, of course, as every country, pues, perhaps cities like Barcelona or Madrid, we are receiving a big amount of expats, foreigners, and there is some demonstrations, but now there is demonstrations all around the world and about all the topics of the world. So, and it's not that every week there is this type of demonstrations. Perhaps in summer, where we are a little bit collapsed, especially in cities like Barcelona, there is this tendency from some districts. But I think it's something understandable, and it does not mean that we don't like expats at all.
I think that the images that we saw from over the summer were definitely in the tourist sections, and I would imagine that expats aren't really hanging out in those areas once they move there. So I think there's a distinction between the expats and the tourists that are people are protesting against. And I think a lot of it has to do with housing also. That's been taken off of the long-term market and put into the short term.
Well, I think it's something very common nowadays in all the world that to do demonstrations, something is a little bit more than we would expected. And also there is this sensitivity from the local people that this is our city, this is our district, and we don't want to change our bars or what we can see in Barcelona that some like restaurants or some projects, they are very oriented to expats and not to locals, and we lose our culture at some point. No, this is a little bit. But I think that in generally, as far as I know from our clients and in cities, I mean, living in Barcelona, like my clients, they try to integrate into the culture, and they like even our traditions. They like how we do the thing, and perhaps we learn things from other nationalities. So I don't think it's a big issue. It's once a year in summer, it appears for a couple of weeks, these demonstrations.
Yeah. Well, speaking of your clients, in your experience, what are some of the biggest misconceptions that people might be coming in to you about getting a visa in Spain? Do they have any sort of preconceived notions about it?
Yeah, in general, what we are surprised, and the people, they are very afraid that they are going to be rejected. And well, as lawyers, our goal is to give security to our clients, to say, look, this is not going to be rejected if we follow the rules. We are a state regulated by law, so if we accomplish the requirements of the law, you will get it. So you don't have to be worried about it's going to be rejected because of irrational decision. Normally, if you have the requirements, they give the permit. And another misconception is people hear that it takes a lot of time, the things, and this I cannot say no because it takes time, but it's reasonable, and with a good lawyer, pues you follow the process, and at the end it would be 3-6 months maximum, the process, 7 months in your case, but the time frames are also reasonable. It's not for 1,000 years that you won't get any answer from the immigration office. So at the end there is a process, and the process is regulated by law, so we have to be sure that if you have the requirements, you will get it.
Great. What are the most popular visa options that you're seeing with your clients? Digital nomad, non-lucrative? What are the most ones that you process?
Yeah, I mean, the digital nomad visa, when it was approved a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, it became very popular because a lot of people were dreaming about the possibility to work remotely from Spain in a legal way with a residence permit. So it became very popular. Till now, we are receiving a lot of requests. So it's really popular because nowadays a lot of people, they can do their work remotely. So why not to do it from a country such as Spain? Also, pues the Golden Visa has been always very attractive for investment in real estate. It's the dream of a lot of people to have a property in our country and to enjoy the facilities with a residence permit. And of course, also a lot of students, they come to study here, not just language. We have also very top universities very recognized internationally. So it would be these three main demanded permits.
Right.
So I just wanted to ask the golden visa, is that still, yeah, it's been very popular, but you hear in the news that a lot of countries are dropping that or they're changing the terms. Is that still, I don't mean to get into details, it's still active and it's still like a $500,000 investment? Is that still the golden visa?
Yeah, during the last 6 months, the government has been talking about the possibility to cancel it because this law generated a speculation on the sector, on the real estate, and affected a lot the local people because the prices has increased a lot. And for the people who lives in Spain or the nationals of Spain, the prices are getting very high to buy a property. So to reduce the speculation, there is the plan to cancel it or to give other options. We don't know really what is going to happen.
Okay.
But till now, the program is open and we are receiving applications every month.
Good to hear. All right. So this one is personal for me. I have some friends who really love Spain and we're like, oh, you should think about moving, but they're immediately scared of taxes. Maybe that's an American thing. I don't know, but they're really scared of taxes. In my opinion, I think Michelle feels the same. Taxes pay for services that are valuable. And if you love a country like I love Spain, you get a higher quality of life, it's worth it. But many of these people would only consider a tax country like Portugal. They're like, what about Portugal? And, some of these friends own businesses. They would bring those to Spain or whatever country they move to, right? So I know that there's some special tax rates for new migrants in Spain, maybe for entrepreneurs. What are your thoughts and views on all that, like the latest?
Yeah, that's true that nowadays the expats who wants to come to Spain, they are asking us about the immigration, how the process works. But the next question is how the taxes work, because at the end they are together. And on regards to the taxes in Spain, besides that, I agree with you that when you come to live to a country, it's reasonable to pay taxes because you're going to enjoy, or to take advantage of what we have here. Besides this, on regards to the taxes, there is 3 things I would like to comment. The first one is that people tend to think that they're going to pay more in Spain than in their own country. But when we go into the numbers with the double treaty conventions, at the end, they don't pay much more taxes in Spain than in their country of origin or residence. So this is another misconception. No, I'm going to pay double taxes in Spain. No, there is double agreement tax convention agreement, so you will never pay double. Second thing is that there is a special treaty for those expats who come to Spain for professional reasons, which it's called the special tax regime or Beckham law regime. It's very famous. That for 6 years they pay just 24% on your incomes from professional activities, and they are exempt to declare their wealth. This would be the special tax regime that is very competitive with other European countries. The only thing that you have to take in consideration is that you have to be a person who moves to Spain for professional reasons, or you are an international remote worker, a digital nomad. And the third thing is that the general tax regime, for those who live more than 6 months a year, they have to pay their taxes here in Spain and to compensate in their own country, do the balance. And we have here an exceptional law about wealth that you have, depending on the wealth that you have, you'll have to pay as well the wealth tax. So this would be my explanation about this topic.
That's good to hear. And I know the entrepreneurs get really fixated on the wealth tax and things like that. So that's good to hear. And, one thing that I think about is that in the U.S. I think our healthcare is very expensive. And you have to buy it. And I have exceptional healthcare in Spain now, and it's not that expensive. It's like my copays in the U.S. with a healthcare plan, right? So, actually, I'm paying out of pocket. I don't have a healthcare insurance plan, I should say. I think it's very affordable. And, if you consider healthcare as a tax you have to pay, if I do all that math, I'm paying a lot less. I'm paying less in Spain than in the U.S. Maybe not a lot, but definitely less. Yeah, with all the math.
And Americans have to consider that.
Yes.
That is a part of the quality of life that is woven into a lot of the European countries, that healthcare is part of that.
Hey there, just a reminder that you can learn more about moving to Europe at livingabroadacademy.com.
Sign up for our newsletter and stay up to date on our latest podcasts, events, and more.
You can also submit questions and ideas for future podcasts on the website.
We appreciate you being a part of our community. Thanks again for joining us.
And now, back to the show.
There's one question that we didn't give you earlier, Christian, that I'm curious about. How many of your clients do you think percentage-wise are Americans? as opposed to other countries?
Americans, they are one of the most demanded clients. This is true. Actually, it's one of the clients that we understand better. Like, I don't like it's easy to work with, so we are always very happy. Besides that, of course, we work with worldwide, so we have clients from all around the world. And the percentage could be, I was checking this morning, it could be around 30% of our clients, they are from the US for sure.
Wow.
Okay. What are some of the challenges that Americans face sometimes with the immigration process that might cause the delay or cause it to fail? I mean, we've heard Jeffrey's story of getting the appointment was the problem. Some of the communication was the problem.
The system was down. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So what are some of those problems that they might expect?
Well, on regards to the US, there is several documents that they have to legalize in their own country and to put a special seal. It's called Apostille of the Hague for several process. And the FBI, for example, is a document that it takes a lot of time to get in the US. It's a document that we require for long-term residency permits. And this is, for example, one thing that they always complain, that this document takes a lot of time in their own country. Then in Spain, with the guidance of a lawyer, pues you will get the appointments, you will get the taxes paid, the immigration fees. So everything will be under our control. So at the end, if you do it alone, it could be very challenging because people normally in the public offices, they don't want to help at all. So you need to have somebody who knows the process. And here where we are. But what we saw with the US is that sometimes it gets difficult for the clients to get some documents legalized properly in a short time.
Your understanding of the process, but also the language is probably very helpful too, right?
Yeah, true.
Do you find that the Americans that you've helped often then go ahead and renew the visas for the permanent residency or citizenship? Because I know that there's like a couple years you get the card and then you got to renew and then you renew again to get citizenship. Like, how many people do go through the entire process to citizenship?
Well, to renew the permit for long term, a lot of US clients, because they come here as a project or to see what will happen, if we will like it, and normally they like it and they remain for years and years, and they don't plan even to go back. So this is good because the integration in the society or in the country is very positive. On regards to the citizenship, we don't have a lot of US clients who request the citizenship for one reason, is that there is no agreement on double nationality with the US. So once they get the Spanish passport, they have to reject their own citizenship, the US one. And this is something that in general, they don't want to do it.
Thank you.
Interesting. So Christian, before we turn over the mic to you to describe Balcel services, do you have any questions for us about the Living Abroad Academy? I mean, you might not, but just curious if you do.
Well, I would like to know which type of audience are you receiving and what are your goals on the project? And
yeah, so as far as audience right now, it's late career people that are close to retirement. We know that's one of our sweet spots, and that's who we're hearing from because there's various reasons, right? It can be healthcare costs, it can be politics, cost of living. Sometimes it's all of that. These people are really looking at potentially moving abroad before they're retired to work remote, even just part-time, and then to transition into retirement in another country. Michelle, who else do you think might be our audience?
Well, I think there's a lot of people who maybe are curious, and we are looking to sort of help those people because we've had a lot of friends ask us now that we've made the jump. They don't know where to start. They've never considered it before.
That's right.
Right. So it's like those people who are just at the beginning of the journey of thinking, what, maybe I would like to live in a European country. I just don't know where to start. And I don't want to spend 5 years on a Facebook group for 5
like we did.
for 5 different countries or something like that. So we would include semi-retired or retired people who are looking to have more of an adventure and to spend time in Europe longer than the 3-month tourist visa.
But there are all age groups really are interested. And right now, we just had an election, and those people that are concerned about results, they are very interested right now.
Yeah, people who are not ever considering living outside of the U.S. before are now thinking, okay, maybe that is an option.
Oh, yes. Yeah, for sure. We're a starting point for the process. I don't know where to start. I want to do this, but I don't, and we really help people get organized and get going.
And to select a country. They may not know which is the best country for them.
That's right. And we hear like, oh, my cousin said I should move to Portugal. That's what I should do, right? And it's like, well, you could, but there's some other, we hear that over and over.
Yeah,
it's like, what about Portugal? It's like, I want to put it on a t-shirt, but there's other options. And we can help people see those. And a lot of people think, oh, I should go to Mexico because I can't afford Europe. Well, you can afford Europe if you do the math. So nothing against Mexico, lovely country. There was another part to your question. You ask us who, and then what are our goals?
Yeah, and what would be your next goals on the projects?
Well, we're deploying multiple things. We have a seminar that should be active very soon that'll help people move to Europe at a high velocity, any velocity like slow to fast. We also have some events we're planning where it'll be gatherings of like-minded expats with us on site in some different cities. And we also have a tool that starts people's move process and helps them think about their priorities, organizes their thoughts, and then decide which country is a good fit for them. That's called our Move to Europe Compass. That'll be deployed. We're really close to deploying that. It'll be available for the public, likely in December.
Yeah, and that tool is looking at, I think, 15 different criteria and 10 different countries in the EU. We're really focused on just the EU right now, but our initial compass is going to include 15 different criteria across from how many visa, what are the options, how to bring the kids and the parents over if you want to come, healthcare, cost of living, political climate. That kind of criteria so that people can at a glance kind of see, oh, okay, I'm going to focus on these countries because these are the top 4 criteria that I'm most concerned about.
Very good, very good.
Yeah, so we really want to help people, and again, a starting point, help them get organized, and then connect them with the resources and experts like you, like we're connecting people with you right now. We really hope to be a catalyst to help people have a successful move and not do what we did, like look for years, but maybe do it in a shorter timeline. That's a major goal.
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
So we are here for anything you would need in Spain, for sure.
We're pleased to include you and recommend you as a resource, so thank you. We're going to turn over the mic to Christian in a moment, but I'd like to share with you first, Ball Sales Group has been so kind to offer our podcast listeners a 20% discount on their initial meeting with them. I described this meeting earlier, where you ask some questions, they ask you questions. Use the code BALC20 when you book it on their website to save. Their website is at ballsalesgroup.com. We're putting all this information on our website in the partner section and in the podcast info as well at livingabroadacademy.com. So, Christian, we'd like to turn the mic over to you. Whatever you care to share about the Ball Sales Group, your services for expats.
Thank you, Jeffrey and Michelle, for inviting me and Ball Sales Group, which is the firm that I am the CEO and the founder. And we are a law firm located in Barcelona, but we work worldwide, all around Spain. We give advice on immigration, taxes, and legal. We work online everywhere in the world, and of course we have our office in Barcelona. Our main goal is to make the journey easy with our expertise, and one of our main strongest point of the company is that, as you said at the beginning, that we are very close to the client. They feel us like their Spanish friend, let's say like this, to help them to get the things happen. And we've been already more than 15 years working on it. So we are very experts, and we have a very professional team, which we speak English, Spanish, and other languages. So you are more than welcome to contact us. We will make your journey easy in Spain, and that would be who we are.
Fantastic. I think it's really nice to be, if I could add, to start a process, an immigration process, and then know a team that then I'm working with your team now on taxes. They've been very helpful. So, that's your next step to start paying taxes. And I'm doing that with your team. And I know you offer real estate services. You offer other things. So you're a great team to work with. So once you know the team, you can expand, the services. It's really nice. It's convenient.
Very good, very good.
I'm assuming that the legal too, you would be able to help people who have businesses set up the businesses in Spain legally. Is that also part of your services?
Yeah, exactly. What we do is immigration. We do legal, like from corporate to individuals, litigation, and we do taxes. So we try to offer all the journey that an expat can have in Spain was to be with us, no, in our plane together, and to actually with our clients we develop a long-term relation. They come here to get the NI number, to get the residence permit, then they buy a property, they want to open a business, they want to do a will. So we are with them during all the time.
Great.
Excellent. It's nice to know that you do estate services as well. I was looking for that in Spain, so okay, excellent. Yeah, so Christian, thanks again for joining us. Great conversation. It's always nice to talk to your team. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Christian.
Thank you. Gracias, and we keep in touch.
Bye.
Adios. Bye.